Welcome to the final video of the Specialist Practice module. In this video we'll be talking about my final outcomes for this project, and in all honesty I'm super proud with how everything's turned out, and I will be definitely continuing this project in the future. First off, I want to show you my website that I created for this module. I used Weebly, which is similar to Wix and Squarespace. This isn't a promotional video or anything, it's something that I've used to make my website, and I'm really happy with the outcome, the way it looks, and it brings so much more character to my portfolio, and it also has a little extra information about the biomes on my planet. And as you can see, my planet's name is Blurple. I know, it's a very generic name, but I hope you like the website, and I think we should move on to the actual images. So first off, I want to start with the planet itself. This is the only image that I've used watercolours with. The other 5 images are done with Inktense pencils, but all images have been done in layers, and then I've just compiled them onto Photoshop to get this like 3D effect with the fade-ins and the fade-outs and stuff. How I used the detail to get like the stars in the background, the speckles on the actual planet, and a little bit in the suns. I basically wet my paper, put loads of watercolours on, and then I sprinkled lots and lots of salt. You could almost say I seasoned my work with this piece. What's interesting about this planet is that it's orbiting 3 suns, and the moon is the same colour as the planet itself. What I really love about this piece is the texture of the salt on the watercolour to make it look really dispersed, if that's the word you'll use. And I also love the intensity of the colours as well. It really makes the planet and the sun pop out from the black background. Moving on to the next image, this is the angel fruit forest. Now, what I did for this image initially was the first draft that I produced for one of my landscapes. As you can see, I did it completely digital. There's not much dimension, and the colours are a bit too pastel-y, and I'm just not good with digital media in general. So I just decided to stick with the traditional media, and as you can see, it's a lot more vibrant, a lot more texture to the images, and it's a lot more easier to play around with layout once you do these individually. I absolutely adore the colours that I chose for this image, and I just love how they all complement each other and how vibrant it makes the forest look. Moving on to the third image of this series is the boa tree forest. This, when trying to compile the images together, took a lot longer than anticipated because I didn't have an A3 scanner that was provided to me at the time, so I had to scan all the layers using my phone, and as you can see, there were some areas here and there that I tried to fix on Photoshop. Played around with composition to try and get a feel with how I'm going to lay out this image, and there was something, I don't know, there was something about how the image, it didn't, there was something missing. I thought changing the contrast would help with bring the creature out, but also try and keep it hidden, but it's a bit too hidden. So with the final image I decided to bring the boa beast forward and have this foreground with just the vines have them a little bit blurred so the focus is on the boa beast, and I think the image looks way better than it did before, and using the two A3 pieces of paper together, it really creates this panorama feel. The next image along in this series, it has to be my favourite biome out of all my creations, and this is the Crystallized Mountains. I just love how it looks. I wanted to show the mountains to have like a crystal gem like sheen effect to them, because they are just gems after all. With the big one behind the spindling that's eating, I scanned all of these layers using my phone again at the time, and it made this, I don't know, my phone picked up like the light shining off the image, so it created this like awful line shine thing where you put like a pen or a pencil line in and it does that reflect. So I tried to highlight that and hide it and make it look intentional, and other than that, I'm really proud with how it looks. I love the spindlings, they're so cute, especially the one that's eating in the background, or he's just gathering some grass to make his nest. And I don't know if you can see it, it's supposed to be small, but there's like a little spindling climbing on that big mountain gem. And overall the colours I absolutely adore, and it does look very sci-fi, and that was the theme that I was trying to go for with this world, is to make it look like an alien planet, and this biome in particular definitely looks alien. The next image in this series is the Legly Islands. Now I called this the Legly Islands mainly because the thicker, longer roots of this tree look a little bit like legs, and basically the whole lore about this plane is that these trees, instead of growing longer, they just grow longer roots, so they grow more upwards, and as they've grown, they've taken a big chunk of soil with them, and they've just been dubbed the Legly Islands. I really like how almost like looking at the image, it looks very fresh. Like if I was there, you could see the mist, and you can probably feel the little speckles of water from the waterfall as it falls down. It looks very cool and refreshing, and I love the whole purple and blue theme coming across this entire planet. And in this image it shows the ocean side of this planet and how refreshing and tempting it sounds to go into the water. Also, to add a bit more texture to the clumps of soil that the roots are surrounded around, I added just oil pastels, purple and black, to give this like a dimension, but also give it like a gritty, soily effect. I don't know how I would word it. So I added a bit of texture in that, and I also added a bit of oil pastels, white oil pastel, to the waterfalls as well, and I just smudged it with my finger so it looks a bit more smooth, but to give more like speckles of highlights from the sun where it shines onto it. And moving on to the last landscape for this series is the Volcanic Plains. Now, how I approached with creating the volcanoes itself, I came up with, I wanted something very alien, so I drew this design. I was kind of inspired by coral. I wanted to make it look very alien and very, like, I want it to be recognizable in some way as well. But unintentionally, I walked into my kitchen, and I saw the kitchen tap, and I was like, huh, this will make a good volcano. And that's where we are left off with this finished landscape. The summers on this planet are very hot, but nowhere near as hot as the volcanic plains. However, that doesn't mean that there are no life forms that grow or live in the volcanic plains. The only life form, well, I say life form, more like plant, the only plant life that lives within this area but doesn't live anywhere else is the thermoplant, which is basically a succulent, but it feasts the nutrients off of lava streams and heat. I'm very impressed with how this landscape in its entirety came out. I love how vibrant the blues are, because I didn't want to just go for like black. I wanted to show the colour blue more. And I love how the purples and pinks just pop out amongst all this dark blue, and I think it just really gives an impactful image. Now, what I'm going to show you are my journal entries that I also submitted as part of my project. I'm just going to quickly go through these, show you the end results, their final outcomes, and just talk a bit about them. But if you want to know or read more about these creatures, either pause the video, or better yet, head over to my website, World of Blurple, so you can go through them at your leisure. So the first journal entry is the angel fruits. Now, in this journal entry, it talks about the angel fruit actually being a flower, and the shell fans out to make it look like it's got angel wings, and that's where you can get the fruit, which is like the little face, and you can eat it. It tastes a bit like an avocado too. The next journal entry is the Rowdine, which also lives in the angel fruit forest. It talks a bit about its hearing, how if it hears anything alien to the angel fruit forest, it's very aware, and its nose basically acts like a bit like an elephant's trunk, so it can reach up and get the angel fruits. It also nests underneath the angelic trees. Now, moving on to my favourite creature in this series by far, the spindling. Now, this little boy here has legs that are really thick, but has spines so it can climb up the gem mountains. But it also can dig into the gems to make a little hole to lay its eggs. If the spindling sees you in the wild, it will come up to say hi. Next we have the boa beast. Now, I like to call him Tall Boy because he's very tall. In fact, he's taller than the boa trees, and they're pretty big. He's got double jointed arms, so he gives you a proper knockback effect that to a person could kill you, but to other creatures in this forest it just stuns them. Last but not least, the thermoplant. As I said before, this plant can only be found in the volcanic plains. Anywhere outside the volcanic plains it will die because it'd be too cold. This plant feasts off of heat and lava, and it has a thick layer of skin to protect it from the molten lava. And that brings this video to a close. I hope you like the landscapes and my journal entries for this project, and I worked really hard on this. This is the biggest project that I've stuck with and I've been fully engaged, and I've had so much fun creating the landscapes, the creatures, the plant life, and it's just been an amazing experience. Now, knowing that my tutors will see this, you know who you are, I just wanted to say thank you very much for an amazing 3 years at university. I've had so much fun and I've learned so much from you guys. And with that said, I hope to see you next time. Stay thirsty.